Welcome back to the Snod Pod with John Snodgrass, your mortgage resource, where we're talking mortgages, real estate, and beyond. I think this might be our first beyond episode where it doesn't have anything to do with real estate. Maybe I should. Can you spell mortgage?
I can spell mortgage. M-O-R-T-A-G-E.
G-A-G-E.
Oh my gosh.
All right. All right. Anyways, we got Derek Collins here, owner of the Pedal Tavern, Duffy Boats, and much, much more. But the first episode, can you stick around for two?
I can stick around for two. Yeah.
Let's focus on the Pedal Tavern here first. It's just been like a mainstay in Milwaukee for so long now. Let's just talk about kind of like your origin story with that. First, what were you doing before that, and then how'd you start the Pedal Tavern?
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, I'm thrilled to be on the Snod Pod. This is a dream come true for me. But as far as the Pedal Tavern and what I was doing before, I was a freight broker working out of an office out of Brookfield called Evans Transportation Services. It's owned by it's a family business, and it was a great job to have. But while I had the job, I have a buddy, Ryan Lloyd, up in Minneapolis, and he saw one of these vehicles cruising around on the streets of Minneapolis, and he reached out to me. He's like, Derek, these things would be great for Milwaukee. And so we did some brainstorming. We reached out to the company that sells them and provides them, and we worked out a deal. And we brought it to Milwaukee, and this was 2010. So when it first started, it was just sort of a side thing to do. It was something fun. And what I was doing, I was working my freight job, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., whatever I was working. And then on nights and weekends, I was working Pedal Tavern. So I was working literally nonstop, like 100 hours a week or more. And eventually the Pedal Tavern sort of took off. And back in 2010, it was the front page of the Journal Sentinel. And back in 2010, being on the front page of the local paper is like a kind of a big deal.
People were still pretty much, checking out the paper.
Yeah, people were getting the paper.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really happen too much anymore.
Yeah.
And my boss at Evans Transportation Services, he came over to me and he asked for an autograph because he didn't really know I was doing this, the side hustle. But everything was good with that until it started to get real popular. So in 2010, it was also the hype of Groupon.com, which I think it's still around, but I don't use it as much anymore. Actually, I don't use it at all.
Yeah.
But we launched a Groupon, and then we were pretty popular with that, and then just the buzz of the newspaper, it really took off. So we had one vehicle in 2010, and it was booked up nonstop. And I mean, we were doing tours like all day, all night on the weekends.
So did you hire an employee at that point, or is Ryan? You had mentioned Ryan.
Yeah, so Ryan was fielding phone calls. This was also before online booking systems were a thing.
Yeah, you're doing it all manual. Yeah.
So all the booking was done basically on spreadsheets or actually just handwritten. And Ryan, he's an awesome guy, very intelligent, very creative. But when it comes down to being detailed with this stuff,
his penmanship's very poor.
His penmanship's poor, and we had a couple hiccups where we had double bookings.
Sure.
Whereas now that we have the online booking system, it's almost impossible to have a double booking. So that was like a curveball we had to deal with. And I still remember this story. There was a double booking, and we just had to push a group back like an hour.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, go to the bar, get yourself some drinks. Yeah. I'll take care of it. And I go back, and the bill was it was almost more than the rental itself. I was like, Rick, what did
Sounds like some people from Milwaukee.
I was like, Rick, what did they order? Yeah. He was like, oh, they had double Grey Goose Red Bulls, and they had so many of them. I was like, this is crazy. But whatever, it worked out. I mean, they had a good time.
So then year two, you still got one bike, or what happened year two?
Yeah, year one, going back to working both jobs, I ended up leaving early and taking long lunches, and I had this amazing account from Tuscaloosa, Alabama to LA, or one way or the other, but I ended up losing that account, and then I lost my job. Okay. So I was asked to leave. So then I kind of focused on the Pedal Tavern full time, and
worked out for the best.
Yeah, it worked out for the best. So year two, we ended up buying 2 more vehicles.
So you have 3 bikes.
Yeah, so we had 3 bikes in year 2, and we just kept reinvesting. Yeah. And what I've been doing, ever since 2010 is every year just reinvesting just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what
smart.
sticks.
Yeah.
And it's worked out so far.
So, who's coming on the Pedal Tavern? Like, what's your...
So our clientele, when we first started, I mean, I was 28, so I thought it was going to be just college kids because I was just, I was young. Just that
bachelor parties,
bachelorette parties. So
Yeah.
we definitely had, we still have a lot of bachelor and bachelorette parties.
Yeah.
And we also have a lot of birthday parties, like 30th, 40th, 50th birthday parties. We have a lot of company parties. So people are looking, like they work 9 to 5 every single day. And like this is like their one thing to do in the summer.
Yeah.
And like with their
Like a company
coworkers.
party.
Yeah, company party.
Summer company party. Cool.
But yeah, we've had, all ages, 21 and above. The first year that we operated, I still remember this lady. She was 98 years old.
Nice.
And she was sitting on the back of the Pedal Tavern. And for people who don't know what it is, it's a giant bicycle bar. And there's 6 seats on each side, and then there's a bench in the back. And then you pedal it, and it moves forward. And we provide the driver who sits in the front, and the driver controls the brakes and the steering wheel.
And where are you doing it?
And we operate in the Walker's Point Harbor District and 3rd Ward in Milwaukee.
Okay.
So this lady, she was 98 years old, and she was sitting in the back, and she was like smoking cigarettes and drinking like it was like a rum and coke or something.
Wow. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, and she was really
Keys to
funny
longevity,
too.
right
Yeah,
there.
right. Yeah, keys to longevity right there.
That's a great story. What are some of the places you guys are stopping at? Is your stop? No, do you serve beer on there, or people bring it on, or
So
what's
it's BYOB. So
Okay.
and
Bring your own beer for
yeah,
those people don't know that.
Bring your own beverages. So
Beverages.
we actually had to change a state law that you have to so now you can legally drink on it. And in 2012, the city said that we were violating a violation because we consider ourselves a green limousine, and they're like, well, no, you're not a green limousine. You are a pedicab.
Okay.
So we had to find out which law we were breaking, and then we actually went.
So they didn't even tell you. They didn't even know which law you were breaking.
They didn't even know. Yeah.
But we know you're breaking a law, and I'm upset about it.
Yeah.
So you figure out which law you're breaking and come back to me.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's
we
awesome.
figured out which law we were breaking, and then we had to go to the state, and actually we changed the law so you can legally drink on board. And while we did that, we kind of made our own rules because the Pedal Tavern, it didn't have a blueprint when we started. Like we started doing 3-hour tours, 4-hour tours, and we found out those were just a little bit too long.
Yeah.
So we dialed it back down to a 2-hour tour.
Okay.
Which gives you enough time to hit up 3 or 4 stops.
Yeah.
And then each stop that we go to, like some of our stops right now is like Stenny's Tavern, Zad's, Socolo, the food park, and various places.
Yeah.
And it gives you enough time to basically go to those stops and then come on back.
Get a quick drink.
Because it's only beer on board
Okay.
or canned beverages.
Sure.
So, but when we first started, we had people bringing like bottles of Jameson and stuff, and it just didn't work out for anyone.
Yeah. That's yeah.
Yeah, but we learned. So
Yeah. Live and learn.
yeah. But now the tour, is really fun. If you want to drink hard alcohol, the bars have it. They'll give you shots, and they're super happy that we're bringing guests there.
So where do you start out of?
So we start out of Boone and Crockett, which is 820 South Water Street, and then from there, it's probably about 2 to 3 miles that you pedal.
Oh wow. So you're getting a workout.
Yeah, yeah. It's all pedal power, so
Yeah.
you do work.
Yeah.
But we purchased the building in 2017.
Okay.
So then we were able to just have all of our tours out of the same building.
Yeah.
So there's food trucks there. There's a bar there. There's a lot of entertainment.
So going into so that means you're a serial entrepreneur. We'll save some of the other business for the other podcast, but you've also got the Cooperage, which what are you doing?
Yeah. So the Cooperage, it is a event space, and we have a lot of really cool artists that have come through and play, like Paul Coughlin. We've had Everclear play there.
Everclear.
Yeah. So that was during Harley Davidson's 120th.
Okay.
What are they at right now? Are they at 125th this year?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. So it was 5 years ago, whatever 5 years
Okay.
ago was. And
It was a special anniversary.
yeah, it was a special anniversary of the Harley Davidson Fest, but we had the band play because the original spot got like rained out or something.
So, do you have any of the going back to the Pedal Tavern? Have you taken the Pedal Tavern? You personally anywhere else?
Well, yeah, we took it. So people of the Snod Pod should know that John and I started a Pedal Tavern in Hermosa Beach, California.
West Coast, yeah. I thought in the wintertime, not as many people are buying houses, so maybe I should get a second job.
Yeah, and I was out there for a couple winters, and like my idea was I'd be a snowbird and I'd be living in LA in the wintertime.
Living the life.
Yeah, I was living the life
in Hermosa Beach.
But it turns out that John also moved to Florence.
I was in Italy. Yeah,
Italy.
Yeah.
For the second year.
I thought you were running the company while I was gone.
Yeah, and I was in Milwaukee, so
it's probably why we didn't have too much success.
So John being in Italy and me being in Milwaukee, no one was really running the show in LA. It didn't work out.
I can see why you've not invited me to any of your other ventures.
Yeah. I don't know if I have or not.
Yeah. So before we get into some of the other major ones on the next episode, so tell me about. Do you have like a kayak business and a?
Yeah, so we have Bruce City Kayak, which is a kayak business out of the same Cooperage area, and then we have Milwaukee by Bike, which is a bicycle rental company, and we also rent e-bikes, and e-bikes are really big right now. And then we have the Pedal Tavern, which is the boat version of the Pedal Tavern.
Save that one.
Yeah, and then some other things.
All right. Well, so if people want to get a hold of you or,
So the best way to see all the businesses, if you go to thingstodoinmke.com, it lists all the different businesses that we have. Otherwise, just go to pedaltavern.com and you'll be able to link up to that page as well.
Pedaltavern.com, or Derek is, kind of Milwaukee tourism renaissance man, if that's the right thing to say. But things to do in mke.com when you're taking a break from real estate.
Yeah,
come check it out.
Yeah, I mean, people who you asked about clientele. We've had a lot of neighborhood associations just do meetups on our vehicles, and I've had a really good time.
Awesome. All right, stick around. We'll talk about a couple of the other businesses.
Cool.
Fun to do. I'm here with Derek Collins, one of the owners of the Pedal Tavern and Cooperage and kayak businesses. Just go to things to do at mke.com to find out more. But this has been the Snod Pod with John Snodgrass, your mortgage resource, where we're talking pedal taverns, other fun things to do with Derek Collins here today. Thanks for joining us. So we'll come right back and do one more episode.